background, so when things like this happen, you can tell what's going on. And they are in game now. Junglers, do you expect to see a split map or just pathing down bot? I don't think top needs too much attention.
I think pathing bot makes the most sense. Now, phase rush is picked up for the Annie. Oftentimes you see the phase rush just in general versus Tristana, so you can kind of kite away from it. But I don't think I've ever seen phase rush on Annie.
Me neither.
So I guess we'll see how that affects the matchup. Probably just wants to disengage. And I wonder, is it actually that useful? Because I feel like most of the trades kind of start by Trist jumping in and getting stunned.
Oh, Woody.
A little bit of a level 1 fight. And Varus is a champ that has been getting a lot of bans in PCS, right? Even last split, I think Varus was picked a lot, but really found no success. And I think it's pretty much the same this split.
Betty, the only person.
Yeah, he had that one win, but it didn't really feel like it was because of Varus, right? It was like because of Betty, right? He can play any AD carry like that. I haven't really seen anything yet that the Varus feels kind of unique in what it brings.
His rush was proc there off an auto and his shield.
Yeah, and then kind of walks up to take the bomb anyway. So not sure if that
loses phase rush and uses it to walk into Tristana.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like the best use. Level 2 hit bot though, and Woody taking a little bit of damage. Actually, a lot of...
I'm kind of surprised by this bot because Woody started Q, and in general with this Xayah and Rakan, you can look to start W. And I get that you are against a strong sort of champion in the Varus as well as Nautilus, but I think still you're just favored to win almost every 2 level 1 all-in if you both have that W.
Yeah, maybe just the... I didn't see if it was Halo Blades or Lethal Varus coming out, but maybe it's just too strong for them to take an effective trade against. Both junglers are actually pathing top. Or is Jungir just going to invade? I mean, he has the mid-pro.
Yeah, Pretender will get that phase rush.
Okay.
The whole bomb goes, okay, phase rush is useless.
So I think it's better on Jace, because I believe phase rush is better from melees, as far as I know, right? And he always procs it in melee form. So, yeah, the phase rush...
And it just insta-procs as well. There's no wind-up. It's just QWE and you've procced it.
Yeah, that definitely feels like maybe Pretender hasn't played the matchup, because that did seem very useless. Because if the whole bomb goes off, like, what's the point?
Yeah, Pretender now very far down in terms of health. Does have a cookie, but that will not make up the difference.
Yeah, I mean, he is fine to sit under the tower, but that should just be the top scuttle kind of taken away. And if Jungir wants to go into the jungle, he could. In fact, look how Kaiwing, I feel like, has had to come up here to protect this. And I'm surprised he's still here, because Eminem is losing a lot of this. In fact, can he be dived? I mean, full HP both sums. They might try.
They are looking for it. Make sure you attack the attack champion's only key.
It's pretty big, though.
Eminem flashing away. And
I'm not sure if what Nautilus got there was actually worth it, right? Like, he did manage to defend the Raptors. I think the red was probably going to go to Kenny Chan no matter what. Obviously, didn't get the Scuttle Crab, but yeah, I don't know. It feels like a lot lost bot, and also a flashless Varus, especially when there are both some still from PSG's bot lane. Kind of feels like he's guaranteed to death at some point here.
Yeah, and Jungir will be in that region very shortly as his bot camps start to spawn. And as well, Maple has so much priority in mid lane. Looks like Maple's going first item Hex Drinker, so...
Could be. I think it might just be Mercs as well.
Oh, yeah, true. I mean, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Mercs would make sense.
I think the Mercs makes a lot more sense. It is going to be that Shiv Varus coming out. Oh.
So that phase rush worked.
It does get better over the game as you get higher level. Solico, he's got the wave in a decent spot for himself. Remaining frozen, and shouldn't be too worried about any of the trades coming out. For me, it's just going to be, is Eminem going to get punished while this flash is down or not? So I think if he can get through this period without dying again and without losing too much CS for it, he is pretty fine. I'm a bit worried for him. And both top laners are very low. Feels like this should just be Crash, but maybe if there's a slight misstep, it could be punished.
Talking about slight misstep, looked like that was a fairly close call for Adza, who will back now. This lane with the 3 range creeps will slow push back to the Jax. Does not freeze unless you have more than 3 range creeps.
A bit of a slower early game, but not to be... Ooh, okay, so now actually jumping away. It is that level 6 there for the Annie. Jinjia. He did look in the bot river a little bit.
He's pinging.
Yeah, he's on his way.
He's pinging down.
It feels so hard for Eminem to survive. I mean, if Woody just flashes in, and Jinjia does as well, I mean, it's very aware of it, at least. Ward is going to be cleared by Woody.
Yeah, but now Eminem just cannot play the game.
Yeah, he just has to sit so far back, and I wonder, is there potential that he gets dived? I'm not sure if PSG has confirmation on the topside Wukong, but if they do, then Eminem is in a lot of trouble. I think they're unsure, although, looking back, I think this is probably the right decision, given that you don't know where that Wukong is. But it's still kind of, while the Varus is staying alive, slowly bleeding, if Jinjia could pick up this drag, it would be really, really big. Can get towards topside.
We'll be spotted out, though, and Annie should feel pretty comfortable to join this. Obviously, doesn't really have items, but the utility that Annie offers, funny enough, in a scoff at is vision control, really what the real battle's about. It's actually, yeah, Pretender finds a stun there. Isn't going to have the damage to take out Maple entirely, but definitely a massive chunk, and with that, there isn't really any potential of this dragon, just going to have to settle for the Rift Scuttle.
I think, Kenny Chan, it's going to take a bit of damage from Jinjia, but nothing too big. And I think now it's probably too late to start up the drag. Feels like too much tempo will be invested into it. And that would make contesting the Rift Herald pretty hard. Most teams, unless maybe a named CFO, do tend to prioritize the Herald higher. And to be honest, CFO, they still prioritize the Herald very highly. They just take the drag so early that, you know, oftentimes they get both.
Lolclips coming down, looking...
Oh, is he just going to freeze this wave for him?
Oh my god, he is.
Or is he going to take it? Well, he's taxing. Okay, well.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be too detrimental, though.
Nah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pretender just push anyway and just try and get some wards down. Looks like he will hold it. Kenny Chan's actually looking for a gank bot, and this feels pretty pointless to me.
It isn't spotted out, though, as Hook will land here onto Woody.
Wow.
Wako, though, has to get away. Woody will be able to use all of that mobility that comes from playing the Rakan to get himself out. It's the Ignite committed from Kaiwing. All summon is still available for PSG, but...
Yeah, I think that was really bad, though. I mean, Chain of Corruption and the Wukong ult Cyclone there was used and didn't get any sums. It feels like this Herald is pretty much just going over. And you wonder a little bit, because I feel like even if you get that kill onto Rakan, I think you probably still give up the Herald. And Frank, do they really want to try contest it? It feels
They have jungle, they have the support there first.
I think it's
just gone anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I guess you have two options really with this Herald. It's most likely going to go bot, but having that Tristana sort of in the mid lane means it can be very, very valuable to put it there if you are able to get Pretender off of his tower.
I think as well, when you're versus a Shiv champ, it is good to... Oh, Arja though.
Yeah, Arja is going to have to flash away, and flashes just in time to not be caught by that final tower shot, and is going to be safe, but will have to likely commit his teleport here.
Yep. As I was saying though, I think up against those Shiv champs, dropping first Herald on mid can be good. Just so that you can make sure the second one will always kill it, because you can really stall out in the mid game if the Shiv wave clear is too high and you can't actually end up taking the tower. And obviously it would accelerate Maple towards his own Shiv if he does choose to go for it. Which he probably will. Mirth Treads, of course, picked up by the Tristana. Makes a lot of sense. And with this, PSG, they should be picking up the first drag as well as the first Herald. So kind of getting everything they want in the early game. And I would argue that they're the team that should be getting kind of punished, at least slightly, in the early game. So in a good spot, for sure. Could this be stolen? Oh, we got it.
Oh, sniped away.
Another trade in the top side. There is no flash for Arja, but he's already recalled and used his TP. Soliko's going to have to stay here for a little bit longer before he has his. And actually getting pretty good trades despite being at a pretty severe item deficit until he does get this recall off.
I imagine he's just going to stay until his teleport back up and then likely use that to come back to lane. All pretty quiet game though. It is a 1k gold lead here for PSG, but... And in fairness, they have the Rift Herald still available and the Dragons, so definitely PSG coming to a slight advantage.
Shiv now completed by Eminem, which is still a pretty good time. I mean, 11 minutes is maybe a little later than usual, but I think given what happened to him, you know, with his support just leaving him level 2, I think it's decent enough. PP has come out. He's just going to try and hold the wave, but it looks pretty difficult to hold it here. Jackson's on his way mid. I wonder if there's a gank that can come out.
Oh, it's going to be Maple jumping forward. He's getting that Tibbers out. Could be Rocket jumping out. But Tibbers now on cooldown means this lane's a lot safer for Maple.
Yep. Has a lot of push as well, so Pretender probably will just be forced into a reset. And I wonder, okay, it's not going to be Herald drop mid, at least not just yet. Jinjia.
Hook will land onto Jinjia.
No real follow-up though. There should be Leandries coming out of Pretender, which I think is a good choice. Helps him deal with those tanks, for sure. Now looking in the bot reverse Kaiwing. Hook lands.
Yeah, Kaiwing does have to be careful. Although Wako not being here and rather pushing forward to that bottom lane means can be fairly safe. It is still 2.5 minutes until this Dragon and the Rift Shield, so you have to think the next objectives should likely be a trade. And oh, okay, so they do land the Glacial Prison. It's Pretender getting really low. Cycling comes through. Woody will be there to finish it off. Makes sure Maple gets that reset, and with just how slippery this Rakan is, he went from the inner to the outer in 0.1 of a second. Is able to survive as well as pick up that first blood. And while the gold on the Rakan not so problematic, it was likely the reset that made sure Maple could stay alive.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to wonder, I mean, remember that Frank did opt to ban the Braum instead. And I can tell you one thing, Braum can't do that.
Braum doesn't have backflips between towers, that's for sure.
He was released.
He just jumps in and says, stand behind Braum. That's all that guy does.
Well, Wako, he's got both his sums. I think he'll be all good to just collect this wave. But I mean, with that death, plates went down mid, and a lot of gold in Maple's pockets now. Looks like he's going towards the Kraken. So they aren't going to have much magic damage, actually. I mean, not that Shivtress really adds that much more, but it is a little bit. I guess just wants to be able to deal with that Cassante better.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of armor against Cassante and Wukong is almost playing into what they want, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because it means you can just go for that Iceborne Gauntlet, which is probably the best mythic to have on Cassante, but against a lot of AP, you're kind of forced into going Jaksho.
I want to see if a lot of Mercs come out or not from side of Frank.
I want to say, though, Solo Kill looking pretty good here in this 1v1. He found himself 2 plates against Azer, is up a level, and CS remaining even, so this Cassante definitely doing what you'd hope.
Yeah.
Kenny Jan is up in the top side. Azer, I don't think you...
Is he really allowed to do this?
Doesn't feel like he should be, but at least for now, it's Kenny Chan clearing his Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's getting away with it for now. Maybe just don't want to commit too much.
Is just... I'm so surprised no one went here.
Yeah, I think maybe just feel the need to answer the lanes.
They are looking now, but I think even now you can look to try and at least get the flash out of Jax.
I think now it might be too late. Dragon's up very soon. Pretender, though?
Yeah, Pretender doesn't have flash. This should be the Annie unfortunately going down. In fact, they're going to get the teleport out, and it still should be the damage coming through. Tibbers is used, and Solar Kill arrives, but he arrives just too late. And it's a kill over to Wako. It is also going to be that follow-up Dragon. Frank, though, claiming themselves the Rift Shield, so it's not all for naught.
It looks like it will just be that Rift for Dragon trade. And he did pick it up in the end. There are pings on this Dragon from Frank. They have TP on Pretender. Maybe they'll try play for the fight afterwards, but I think it's probably done. Yeah, it looks like they do just take it. Maybe can instantly Herald mid and try and take at least a little bit of gold back for themselves, but are just trading it in the top lane as well. So this is looking good for PSG.
Yeah, Junji here, Chain of Corruption. The Glacial Prison will not land here on Demon M, and he feels a lot safer now knowing that massive Sejuani cooldown's down. They are going to claim themselves mid-inner. They get the mid-inner before PSG are able to get theirs, so when these next objectives start to come up, the likes of the third Dragon, it does mean that you have a little bit more freedom to try and get vision.
Maple can probably drop this bot tower, but Solokill might just stay. And you've got to be pretty careful here. I mean, I think that Tristan is fine, but Sane just one of those champs that feels like it really can pull rabbit out of the hat.
Pretender gonna get stunned up. There's a stun traded, and he's gonna phase rush on out of there. Turn around, find some more damage for himself onto this Jax. Good awareness to realize Azu could just be sitting there.
Pretender once again down a lot of CS as well. But despite that, you know, he does find teamfight impact on the Annie. I mean, we've seen this pretty much exact same thing happen before. Solikill's pushing out. Woody does not have flash.
Yeah, has the grand entrance and a blast cone there, but does get chunked fairly low there by Kenny Chan. Of course, having that Divine Sunder means Wukong's damage goes up a fairly significant amount. But now it is just slowly but surely Frank trying to find themselves some towers, and the Tippers misses.
Yeah.
So now Maple feels very, very comfortable in that at 1v1.
Yeah, should be able to just keep pushing for free, and Pretender might be the victim again.
Although it's turning into a 3v3. And with both AD carries, we might be seeing a 4v4. And for what? The top outer. There is no other objective.
Woody.
It's going to be Woody just found. He gets CC chained, will be going down. It is a tower traded though, so I mean, all things considered, I think fairly even. It was Eminem picking up that kill. Definitely the person you need that to go on to.
Well, third dragon will be spawning in only 3 more minutes, and I think that is one that Frank are going to be forced to contest. And I think they are looking fairly strong at it. I think a lot of it will just come down to who sets up beforehand. I will say that fighting PSG when they have all their flashes is pretty scary, but maybe the same could be said about Frank. I mean, flashing the Annie, Pretender, we've seen what he can do with it. Nash is now completed by Eminem as well, so the spikes are definitely here from Frank. Just wonder if it's going to be enough in time. That PSG team fight is so absurdly strong. Mid tower will fall, and Wako does not quite fall. Stays up for now.
Yeah, both where everyone was, maybe Wako does have to commit too much to get that tower, so at least for now, Frank will maintain that one up there. And gold still remains fairly even. It's 1.5k, but some of that is onto the support here. Woody picking up that first blood, so that part's fairly inconsequential, but it's the all-out coming through as well as the follow-up from Maple. And there's 3 men coming down. Kaiwing first, but he doesn't land the hook, and with that, it's just going to have to be a disengage. As PSG now will turn their attention towards perhaps trying to get this tower.
Ooh,
Teleport coming through. Kaiwing will land the root. Buster shot will have to be forced from Maple. So again, both of these teams are so scared. They don't want to make the play that loses the game, but it also means that none of them want to make the play that wins the game.
Yep. I think PSG are probably fine with that.
Yeah.
They can just wait for this third dragon. Feels like that is just where PSG, as a team, shines, as these dragon fights. Just execute it and set it up so well every time.
Eminem's so strong, actually.
Yeah, he is really big. They could maybe trade Baron here. It would be third dragon given over, but you'd have to think it's worth it. They have a Leandries too, so maybe if they can't find a way in, they could trade. But I think they should try and fight. I mean, all things considered, the game is very even. If you're PSG, I think you have to make sure you kill that Varus, or CC him at least.
Okay, Wako back, and let's see what he gets. It might just be the Warhammer. Yep, Crawford's Warhammer is picked up here. As well as a pink ward for this Xayah. Now, Dragon fight. You have to think this is what's coming up. There's no teleport available for solo kill, so it is Pretender up top matching this Jax, and I think that's something that does favor PSG. I think you really want Annie to be there for the initial engage. There's fights breaking out here though now, and teleport will be committed. PSG though smartly just running away, although Woody's gone back in. They find a route here onto Kenny Chan. It's going to be Arzi teleporting in. Stun lands onto Solo Kill, who is so slow, but he's trying to run away. Will manage to get to that blast cone, but the consequences of so much health lost here for Frank could be this third dragon going over. In fact, Pretender also going to have to lose his flash alongside what is likely PSG's dragon.
Feels like a disastrous engage from Frank. So much use on the Jinjia, who never even dips below 90% HP. And that's a third drag going over, one that Frank can ill afford. Even though there were no kills, like, kind of hope we get a replay of it because I really feel like the engage from Frank was pretty terrible. They're going to lose a lot off it. Dragon, or this tower falls as well. So the gold lead, it's starting to build up. And now just having that Dragon Salt win condition kind of looming over your heads is Frank, super annoying. Means you can't really make a mistake around the Dragon anymore. Even if you manage to collect, 2 drags to yourself, there's still the chance that PSG pick one up at any point and put the game in such a good spot for themselves.
Absolutely. And I want to take your mind back to sort of the playoffs of last split around Ubao. PSG were playing sort of this way of playing the game where they just had Ubao never at the objective and always split pushing. And in those instances, PSG was so clean at the 4v5 and just not allowing an engage to come through. And at least if an engage came through, it was not a favorable one for their opposition. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. But instead of having the Tristana in the side lane, it's been the Jax and Aza in the side lane. And then the rest of the members are just maintaining safety whilst putting out pressure, which is causing Frank to really slip up here and there.
For sure. Looks like Solica will grab himself one bot tower. Maple's going to have a pretty tough time dealing damage against Wukong and K'Sante. Definitely feels like there's not much he can do in fights right now. But there's more than enough strength on the rest of his team to deal with it. Kaiwing, he's going to take a tiny bit of damage on the way out there, but nothing to really be too worried about. Wako, though,
Wako, nice Featherstorm. As the Featherstorm traded for that flash of Nautilus, and while the next fight now could be favored for Frank because Zaya without Featherstorm against the Annie and the Wukong, very scary.
I wonder if there's potential for just forcing the Baron at some point. With Zaya's ult down. Feels like if you wait for it to be up, there is really no chance at all. 2 items completed for Maple. It's coming online, but really needs LDR if he wants to deal any damage to K'Sante. Yeah. Just going to clear out some of this top side vision. It's pretty content, I think, with just letting the game go slow. And once we do get towards that 4th drag, it feels like everything will happen at once. Just 2.5 more minutes away. Really feels like Frank almost kind of do or die at this next fight, though. They pretty much have to get the drag.
Yeah. The game's very even, so they definitely have a chance, but the fact that it's even means if PSG win it, it's pretty much the only fight that matters this game. It'll be the only fight this game, but it would lead to the soul.
Oh,
Kenny Chan is taking so much damage. He's going to lose his flash. Importantly, doesn't lose his life. Dragon's still 2 minutes away though, so perhaps his life being lost would have meant just 1 tower. Still, important with how little amounts of kills there are. You don't want to be giving over gold like that. Does get away, but flash will not be available now for the Dragon.
Yeah, that's really important. Because PSG, they're already favored to win this fight, and that's just another thing on top of it. Especially when all those flashes, Barge and Gias are up. And his might be up soon. Doesn't look like it's that far away.
Featherstorm available again too.
Yeah, it just feels so hard here. Even though the gold is pretty good for Frank, I just don't really see them winning the fight anymore. It just feels like PSG already scaled up enough and strong enough that none of this should really be an issue.
Yeah, those top 4 champions are all pretty much just within touching distance of each other. Each wave comes in and swaps over who has the most gold.
1 minute away. If these bases are checked, there could be a Baron looked at. There is a lot of DPS, but looks like they will get the base off relatively for free. And PSG, they have just so many choices here. I mean, they can trade the Baron for the drag. Frank get there first. That would be completely fine. Do they feel the need to trade, though? Probably not. I mean, you can just grab this Baron or this drag, and I don't think it can really be contested. Frank, maybe they would put a Hail Mary towards the Baron.
Okay, Janjia's position noted. Kaiwing flashing forward, and that hook was so close. If that dredge line connected onto Wako, could have spelt disaster there for PSG. This one will! It is going to be the Featherstorm coming out in the cleanse to get out of that Tibbers, but now Wako goes down to Tibbers. It's a 4v5. Frank, they're trying to find more, but ultimately they don't have to. 15 seconds until this Dragon, as well as the Baron up. Oh, this could be scary, though. There is still an 80 carry available, and you're not going to do the Baron quick enough to get back and contest the Dragon.
No, and they don't really have engage tools either. I think PSG might win this fight.
Yeah, well, I think Maple has to play extremely well. They're stunning up. Solo kill there is Kaiwing taking a lot of damage to Baron. They do get the Baron away. Solo kill! Flash fall into Tofu strikes. Lands onto Arze as well as the all-out. But he's staying fairly healthy. He's still half health. And Maple, in the meantime, putting out so much damage onto Kenny-chan as Arze turns it around. He looks likely to go down, but what is he going to find? Just a bunch of damage here onto this Wukong, and now it's the rest of PSG kiting away. Wako's respawned and he's headed down towards his bot side, and Maple, he's starting up the Dragon. This is the Mountain Soul. Frank, you have to check this. You can't let this one go away, especially after such a team fight win. Kaiwing's going to come down the Dragon, 4k HP. There's no jungler, no Kenny-chan in sight, and Junjia secures the Mountain Soul.
PSG just get away with absolutely everything there. Felt like a big overstep from Waka. Really could have cost them, but Frank, they greed a bit. They go towards the Baron. Couldn't quite get it, and then couldn't get the Dragon either. Maybe now, will they turn back towards Baron?
Maple has teleport available. Is bot pushing.
Feels like the window might have been missed.
Zaya ult back up again.
Oh, it feels rough now for Frank. I mean, again, the gold lead's not that bad, but down 4 Dragons to 0. Obviously, the Mountain Soul is pretty hard to deal with, but the resistances on top of it do add up. We'll see how Waka was caught.
The second hook is crazy.
Wow. Pretty crazy that was found. And it actually looked like he was going to live. I think the corruption spread to him, maybe? And then just the tippers.
Oh, it was the Nautilus ult. The Nautilus ult knocked him up while Tibbers was just wailing in on him.
Yeah, he's not too happy with that, I'm sure. Lots of armor pins starting to come through for PSG. And Maple, I think, just lost his flash. I'm not too sure what to. But doesn't have it now. Doesn't really look like... Maybe it's the Wukong ult?
I guess it had to have been.
Oh,
Junjia flashing. All out takes him to the side of the wall he wants to be. In fact, solo kill now. He's the one that's in a bit of trouble.
That was pretty close to Junjia being taken into no man's land. Reset will come out from solo kill, and PSG, they're going to take that opportunity just to start this up. They know that Frank have to come and fight them. Yeah. I think PSG do want to turn, though.
Kaiwing's hook will hit that Mountain Soul boulder, but this Baron is so low, but it's stolen by Kenny-chan. The missed timing could be crucial, but ultimately here, there's a 2-man grand entrance. Will find their targets. Solo kill, Pretender, they're down, and Kaiwing's flashing away with his life, but still 3 members did pick up that Baron, and very, very clutch steal from Kenny-chan, who manages to get away with his life as well.
I think Kenny-chan, he buys them more time. Really just 3 minutes and 40 seconds to the Elder. Feels like that's probably it, but that's important time, of course. 1 tower will go down, but I'd be surprised if there's anything more with the Baron waves and the Shiv wave clear. Should be fine just to clear all this out. And I think it was left on so low.
Yeah, the missed timing.
Oh, 75 there. Heartbreaker for PSG, but I mean, they come out and win the fight anyway, and they still are in firm control of this game. I don't think Frank can get a whole lot done with their Baron. They can really just use it to defend their own base. Maybe if they could get the top outer, that could be a little bit of gold, but really feels like it's all going to come down to that Elder fight. And I think while it's a PSG favored fight, I don't think it's unwinnable for Frank by any means. If you take a look at Eminem's items, he is absurdly strong.
Yeah.
If he can get a good fight for himself, I could see him finding a way to carry.
Very hard for a Varus to play fights, though.
Yeah.
You have the cleanse, but what are you going to cleanse? I mean, if you get hit by a Sejuani ult, that's the cleanse gone, and then Arze can look for you. Has the flash available, Counter-Strike as well, and then Woody, of course. The charm knock-up, and the problem with that one is you could cleanse the charm, but you can't cleanse the knock-up that follows it directly after, so... Yeah, feels pretty hard. If Eminem's able to position perfectly and find, you know, the absolute perfect ult, or perfect positioning, then I guess he could theoretically do it, but it does look a little grim as Wako. Every time he's seen, Pretender is just revving up and running at him.
Well, 2 more minutes on the Elder, so something is going to have to break here. And I feel like Frank they want to get set up pretty early. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard, I think, to face check. You know, don't have a super tank other than the Cassante, and Cassante just can't be everywhere at once. Is the one having to match the side lane at the moment. 2 LDRs completed for PSG as well, so there's a lot of damage that can come in from them. Zhonya now on Arja as well, and with those items coming in, you have to feel like it's pretty hard for Frank to fight this. Just has to be an Eminem 1v9, I think, if they want to win.
Well, we'll see if he's capable of doing it. Certainly is a very, very talented AD carry player. With a champ that does a lot of damage, flash forward will be used here, but it's onto a tank again as actually it's onto the Woody that gets absolutely decimated. The depth charge will find Maple as well as that hook, but it's Wako. Wako's turning around so much damage. Arze jumping in here. The damage is coming from everywhere as double man, the Tofu strikes and Wako's been all out into the middle of the team. Maple though on the backside, he's untouched. He's finding everything and it's going to be a team fight win for PSG.
6,000 damage done by Maple's Tristana in that team fight. Wako even went down, but it didn't even feel that close at the end. You can see the health bars on these remaining PSG members. Kind of just feels like Frank gave over too much and are now really starting to suffer for it. I don't think the game will end just yet. Looks like it would just be an inhib taken. And that was a fight where Woody died instantly. I mean, he didn't even get an ult off.
Yeah.
And it was still tough. And this is going to make contesting the Dragon just impossible. I mean, Kenny Chan's not even going to be alive. So it feels like PSG, they get this for sure. Unless Kaiwing can somehow steal it, but not in this lifetime. Might have bitten off more than he can chew as well.
Okay, double teleport committed. The Alder has already been started up.
Yeah, there's
Maple
no way
on
they
it.
get here.
Yeah, they're not getting it there. This is going to be Alder. The Alder will mean that in the near future it should be Baron for them too. Solo kill, you're getting a bit too far up. With that, it's... Ooh, Unstoppable comes out. Frank will be able to run away. And now they have to try and delay for this Alder to end. But before the Alder ends, Baron spawns.
But Woody was taken out very early.
I think Kaiwings plays so fantastically.
Yeah, I wonder... I think there was kind of overkill on that. I feel like it should have been Chains of Corruption or Tibbers, but it was both. I think you can see here, now they kind of just run out of damage. Admittedly, I mean, they've still got Eminem auto-attacking, they just don't really have the AoE to deal with this. And while Waka goes down, Eminem or Maple's still full HP. Never really felt like he was in danger. I think, yeah, maybe slight misexecution from Frank. It is difficult, right? They are just pretty far behind, especially considering all the dragons. And now with the Elder as well, Kenny Chan.
Yeah, Kenny Chan, he's just going to get executed. The Elder Dragon, absolutely paying for its worth as now you're without a Wukong. Wukong didn't even get to get his ult off. Although, looks like he actually did, sorry, but was pretty meaningless. It's now a 4v5 against Elder Dragon up PSG, and you're seeing the damage come through. All Out will take Arze into the wrong side of the map, but Natofi strikes mistimed there from Solo Kill will mean Arze is likely to get away. Counter-strike to ensure his safety, but you're seeing Wako. Wako now executing Kaiwing, and Maple jumping forward will get stunned up, but it's going to be another execute there. It's going to be another. Maple, will he find it? Yes, he will. That's the double kill. And just Solo Kill left alive. He's going to have to sit and watch as his base is absolutely decimated here by PSG. And it was a slow start, but what an explosive finish. PSG take it.
They do.